We get late details from NBC's Peter Alexander.
This video has been blowing up on the web over the last few days, causing NFL fans great anger after the Patriots upset the Jacksonville Jaguars to advance to the Super Bowl for the 10th time. If you look closely, this referee appears to be celebrating the touchdown with the Patriots when he should have been officiating the game. This video has fans crying foul and forced the league to finally acknowledge that the NFL games are sometimes fixed in order to drive revenue and ratings. Watch that again. The same referee congratulating Tom Brady after the upset. Not only did the video cause NFL fans to hemorrhage from their brains, it also caused uproar with Broncos star TJ Ward simply tweeted, "Rigged, shaking my head." The next morning, Jaguars cornerback Jalen Ramsey confirms everyone's suspicions when he admits, "Coach told us in the middle of the fourth to give the game to New England. We didn't want to, but commissioner said it's best for the league." Ramsey quickly deleted the tweet, but it seems it was already too late.
And yes, what we have is a technology that allows our players to have direct access to our fans, and it creates a unique opportunity. However, we also have obligations to our partners and our advertisers, and anything a player does to hinder that process, it won't be tolerated. So unfortunately, we had to let Mr. Ramsey go because what he did was a clear violation of that policy.
Released interview between former NFL referee Richard Ndabu and Jim Rome, where Ndabu admits to rigging games in order to not only drive up ratings and revenue, but also help him and his colleagues win bets.
You didn't just share information and help your buddies. You actually started to bet on the games.
Correct.
How did that happen? How come?
Just sitting at lunch with other referees and getting information to where, we were going to stick it to somebody that night.
One specific team Ndabu stuck it to was last year against the Buffalo Bills when he confessed in front of 80,000 Patriots fans that he was going to create a completely fake penalty against the Bills in order to offset a blown call in which he robbed the Patriots of a touchdown.
I totally blew that call. In fact, it wasn't even close. But don't worry, I'll penalize the other team for no good reason in the second half.
Hall of Fame quarterback Joe Montana was asked if this cheating has been a long-time practice in the NFL, and he responded.
Well, they always say if you ain't cheating, you ain't trying. So they're trying hard.
With a fan.
He's definitely an extraordinary player, a great performer, and a surefire Hall of Famer. So it would be a great honor. And look, at the end of the day, we are here to provide entertainment to the fans. Nobody asked Vince McMahon if he felt uncomfortable for allowing The Undertaker to go on a 21 winning streak at WrestleMania, because he knew he was creating an amazing legacy. So you don't see wrestlers going around calling the matches fake or rigged, because at the end of the day, we're creating amazing stories that entertain people. And it should be no concern to anyone if we decide to allow Tom Brady to win the next 32 Super Bowls. You don't see wrestlers going around calling the matches fake or rigged, because at the end of the day, we're creating amazing stories that entertain people. And it should be no concern to anyone if we decide to allow Tom Brady to win the next 32 Super Bowls. We want him to walk away as a king. We want him to walk away as a king.
I want to give all the praises and the honor to Yahweh Bahashem, Yahweh Shai Bahashem, Recha HaKwadash, and double honors to the apostles and the elder bishops of Great Millstone. Also a sincere shalom to the elect. Peace to the elect. I want to touch on this video going into the entertainment platform. As we speak at Great Millstone, everything that you see is all smoke and mirrors, man. This is nothing but a matrix, right? It's all set up. Now, and it is for our entertainment. And I've told brothers in the past, I don't particularly watch sports like that, maybe a little more boxing than anything. But when you really look at sports today, or even in the past, it's been pretty much fixed or rigged, if you want to call it that. You know, if you don't want to believe that, that's okay too. But it's just you should, if you understand the ideology of this man and his system. You should, if you understand, all this stuff that's going on right now, that they're trying to push on you Jakes, okay? The jabs and everything else. You should know that a lot of this stuff, a lot of what you've known to be, you thought was legitimate, is just pure entertainment, which means distraction, which is in a rigged state. And we'll show you that this comes from the Roman Empire. The Roman Empire did the same damn thing. You know, the same thing. Us in the know, we can watch these things and still have a collective understanding of what's going on. But the average person, this is why they put a TV in your home. You can't make it to the Coliseum. You can watch it right from your home. Now, what brings me to this is these debates and who's the greatest athlete and who's this and who's that. You know. Now, when you look at Michael Jordan, the officials, the NBA commissioner, and everyone was mad at him. Now, don't get it twisted. They get these top athletes. That's what makes it so great. And what they did is they lost money because he never allowed the NBA to go to a Game 7 when he did these championships. As much as the officials wanted him to lose, if you look at the games, and I remember some of those games, he was getting awful calls because they wanted that Game 7. But somehow Michael Jordan, at the last second, would hit those clutch shots, which they didn't think was, expected. Then all of a sudden his father dies and so forth and so on, but that's another video. Or, you know what, I'm not even going to go to that. This video is not about sports, or I'm not trying to make it about, sports in general, but just about how this system is, they've done a lot of rigging. And not just in football, as I put in the intro, but in basketball, right? But in track and field, but in music. Music is rigged. A lot of these R&B singers, they're not really singing about women. And they did the same thing in Rome. That's why Revelations 13 is a good breakdown, right? The image of the beast, right? This is why we don't worship that, right? Let me get a article. The gladiators always fight to win to the death. Now, I don't know how fully true everything is, but these are just articles. It says Hollywood portrays Roman gladiator contests as brutal, unruly duels that ended when one of the combatants killed the other, right? But in reality, gladiators didn't always fight to the death. There was a time that they did, and then if it was born, they would kill them because they didn't bring up a good show. So now what they do is, if you're born and you don't bring excitement to the show, they trade you or they sell you off, or you just fall out. Anyway, it says these ancient Roman athletes were highly trained professionals. This is why they want the best of the best. This is why they get the recruits, who made their living fighting, not dying. So you think, when one athlete is traded to another team, to this team, to that team, that this is new? None of this stuff is new. That's why Ecclesiastes 1:9 says there's no new thing under the sun, right? And since gladiators were expensive to prepare and maintain, killing off mass numbers of them would have been a bad business decision for the Lannistae, who owned and trained them. So what we see is the same thing reincarnated back with the same thing. If there's a favorite, no doubt Tom Brady is a top athlete. Wouldn't take that away. Nor Michael Jordan. 6 rings. He got 7 rings of completion. I'm not going to go into that. But it's not a coincidence, right? But these things are happening. LeBron James, they had the argument with him. But somehow he goes to a particular team that is already stacked, right? That's already set up. I knew he was going to get a ring when he went there. Ray Lewis, here in Baltimore, you know what he said? This is my last year. I'm going to get a ring. He knew it. He said it. I'm going to get a ring. And they love Ray Lewis. You know what happened? Ray Lewis won the Super Bowl. So you see the point. You could put it all together. The Eli Manning, Peyton Manning, the 2 brothers, back-to-back Super Bowls. Different teams, but they get Super Bowls. Anyway, Just showing you that a lot of this stuff is not just football, baseball, track and field. The majority of your sports are pretty much set. Now, some of it is real, but ultimately, if they have a favorite, that's who's going to win. And we see this in WWE, which a lot of people never believed that World Wrestling Federation, the WWE, was years ago. People thought it was kind of real. It's leaked that everybody knows that was fake, but they're still top trained athletes. They're steroided, they're strong, they know how to do flips, they're acrobatic. They get the biggest men that know how to be acrobatic. They train. So they want the best of the best for the entertainment of the people. That's what it's about. Anyway, occasionally sponsors would pay extra to stage a fight to the death, right? Compensating the Lannister for any loss of the gladiators. Okay? Now, when you look at, what a Lannister is, that is someone, I looked that up, that is someone, a trainer, basically. So you would have a coach or a trainer. They would be considered what you would call a Lannister, right? Gladiator bouts simply had to have a decisive outcome, meaning that one of the contestants was wounded or his endurance gave out. So over time, they would keep these athletes, train them, especially if they was entertaining. They didn't want them dead. They want them to come back and fight again. This is the same thing you see in boxing. Same thing you see in boxing. You lose, they get knocked out. They get up and they come back. They fight again. So you also had rigged events too. You had rigged matches in the Roman Colosseum. You had the same thing. Let's go to Nahum 1 and 3 and 1, and I'll get back to the lesson. Woe to the bloody city! It is all full of lies and robbery. The prey departeth not. It's full of lies. Everything you see here is a complete lie, and we understand that, which I believe there is something going on with this thing that's happening. But the inflated numbers and everything that's happening and the fear, that's all part of the entertainment. That's all part of the matrix, so to speak. It's all part of it. Let's go to Revelation 13. I'm not going to do the whole breakdown because I ain't got time. But if you want the breakdown, you just go to Revelation 13 breakdown. Make sure it's GMS, obviously. Who knows? I'll just go where it goes. And it says, and I stood upon the sand of the sea, and I saw, this is John the Revelator, and I saw a beast rise up out of the sea having 7 heads and 10 horns, right? And he actually saw that, The EU, the UN, after World War I, it was the League of Nations first. Okay, and upon the horns 10 crowns, and upon the head the name blasphemy. Okay, which they've blasphemed. They're liar, basically. The judicial system, that's all a game. That's why you get the word court. You go to court, it means game. It's all a setup. The judicial system and what's happening to Jake, the Judites in the judicial system, it's all set up. That's why you go out. You got the judges sitting there in all black, giving you what you call a summons, which is a curse. It's what it is, man. You got to wake up. And it says, and the beast which I saw was like unto the leopard, going to Alexander, and the feet was like the feet of the bear, Russia, and his mouth as the lion of the lion, and the dragon gave him the power coming out of Britain. Guess what came out of Britain? America. Okay, and gave all and his power and his authority and a great out of his seat, Salakia, gave him his power and his seat and great authority. Okay, and I saw one of the heads as it were wounded to death, and his deadly wound was healed, and all the world wondered after the beast. So let me go on down. It says, and they worshiped the dragon which gave power unto the beast, right? And they worshiped the beast, saying, who is like unto the beast? So this is nothing but a reincarnated Rome on steroids because of the technology that it has. Who's able to make war with them? That's all this is, a reincarnated Rome. Okay, let me go on to this article here, because the WWE and all that stuff you see in wrestling, well, that went back in Rome. You know, they had the gyms, you know, what they call gymnos. They had the gyms. They wrestled around, and they got the top athletes. Okay, ancient sports were no joke. The Olympics were some of the most important and sacred festivals in the ancient world. Don't they do Olympics today? They still have the Olympics. Wide world of sports. It says, in ancient combat sports were brutal displays of technical skills, or at least that was true in some of the time. A recently translated document reveals that some ancient athletes, like some of their modern counterparts, sacrificed their integrity for the sake of a good show, or swindled audiences for the sake of a bribe. In 267 CE, Salakia, in Antinopolis, Egypt, Nicantius stepped into the wrestling ring with Demetrius. Nicantius' goal was to throw Demetrius to the ground 3 times to win the match. Demetrius' goal was to get thrown down to the ground 3 times. Why? Because he signed a contract to throw the fight. Don't they sign contracts now? Right? King College London professor Dominic Rathbone recently translated a contract stating that Demetrius would earn 3,800 drachmas of silver if, when competing in the competition, Demetrius will fall 3 times and yield, according to the recent article in Live Science. Even if the judge recognized that the match was fixed, Demetrius would still be paid. However, the contract written by the father of Nicantius stated that if Demetrius does not throw the match, then you are of necessarily to pay as a penalty to my son on account of wrongdoing 3 talents of silver of old coinage without any delay or inventive argument. So I'm not going to read no more of that. And we can see that as Rome starts to fall, so does Babylon. So, you know, and I'm pretty sure that people start figuring out that it was a lot of mischief going on, right? And, you know, that's when you have the issues internally with the people of Rome. The people, even to this place, is not believing in the government anymore. They're not believing in anything. You got a big masses of people who do, but you have more and more people who are not believing in anything that happens. Nobody really believes in the government. Nobody believes in the lies and the news. That's another source of false entertainment. The news, right? Isaiah 14:11. The pomp is brought down to the grave, and the noise of thy vows, the worm is spread under thee, and the worms cover thee, meaning a decay. You know, you have a society now that's of a decay, right? And what you see through the everything's being exposed. Isaiah 47, I believe 47 and 1 and 2, if I'm not mistaken, says, "Come down and sit in the dust, O ye virgin daughter of Babylon. There is no throne." So we could see the downfall of this place, the downfall of Babylon. Okay, Rome, Egypt, all over again. Hope this lesson was edifying. That's all I have on that. Shalom.